In this Fextralife video, I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about Valor Mortis, which is a new Souls-like first-person game that's being developed by One More Level, who is also the developers of Ghost Runner and Ghost Runner 2, if you've ever heard of those games. They're sort of very fast-paced first-person action games that have a bit of parkour and combat to them, very cyberpunk feel. And they kind of decided to change directions a little bit with this game. The setting of it is very much in the Napoleon era or the French Revolution era of history, which is like late 1700s, early 1800s. And I was actually really intrigued by this game. I knew that they were working on a project that they were going to show off at Gamescom. They wouldn't tell me what it was, but they simply told me that it was going to be a first-person Souls-like game, so I went to see it and I played it there. Really, really enjoyed it. They actually sent me the same demo of it, so I've been able to play it more over the last couple weeks. It's not a very long demo. It's about 30 minutes long in total. But I really like what I've seen so far. There are a couple hiccups in it, but I kind of want to run you through like what this game is and why maybe you want to have it on your radar moving forward. So as I mentioned, this game is coming to PC, Xbox, and PlayStation 5 next year, but there is a sort of like playtest that's happening later this month, or it's supposed to be towards the end of the month, which is just a couple weeks away unless it's delayed or anything like that. You can actually sign up for that test on Steam. There's like a little button you can click there to apply to be part of that playtest if you want to play it yourself very, very soon and see whether you like it or not. This is always a really good sign from developers when they have the confidence to show their game and let people play it before they buy it. Like anytime you can have that. It was one of the things I think I really love about Neo, for instance. Neo is so confident in their product, they always let people play from software. There's always network tests of their games. People get to play way in advance. So I really like this, and it's a good, thing to have for a game. It inspires confidence in the product. As I mentioned, this game takes place during the French Revolution area of history. It's obviously fictional. There's some sci-fi elements. You're playing basically a dead soldier who's resurrected for unknown reasons. There isn't a lot of story in the demo, so I don't really know why this is happening. But you have like supernatural abilities that you acquire as you play. And obviously, anytime you're doing a Souls-like game in first person, there's a lot of question marks in terms of how is the combat going to be? Is it going to get repetitive, etc.? And I still have some of those questions after playing myself. Like, I like what I've played so far, but obviously, unless there's like a huge change in variety over the course of the game, or there are at least more abilities and tools to use, then it's definitely, I can see why that might be an issue. I don't think this is going to be a very long game, though, from what I've played so far. But let's get into like the mechanics of it. So, this being a Souls-like game, you obviously have your block, you have your parry, you have your dodge, and you have your riposte that you can do when you parry enemies. You also have a firearm, like a pistol, that you can use. And it seems to be some sort of like magic. I don't know if it's called magic, but there's abilities you can use that remind me of magic. Like, for instance, you can shoot fire out during the demo, and like an AoE cone that can set enemies on fire that deals damage over time and deals damage to them while you're casting the spell. I would imagine there are going to be more of these abilities throughout the game based on what I've seen so far. So there are a variety of things that you can do, and enemies have a posture bar not unlike what you would see in a Souls game called Stance or Sekiro, where if you do enough stance damage or posture damage to them, they'll break and you can do a riposte. Usually basic enemies is just like you do one parry and then you can riposte them and kill them like normal. Other more difficult enemies, you might have to parry them several times or hit them several times in order to be able to do a riposte and deal tons of damage. So there is that kind of mechanic. I do like the dodge mechanic. The dodge feels really good, especially when you get like a perfect dodge on one of the glowing red attacks. So far in this game, like, you're going to recognize a lot of these mechanics from other Souls games and Souls-like games like Sekiro and things like that. There isn't so far anything that I've seen that's really original. Even the bonfires are called, like, rekindled. You know what I mean? They actually use that verbiage exactly. I don't know if they're called bonfires in this game, but you get the point. Like, there's a lot of very similarities to the Souls titles, and you can see them right away. And I don't think it's trying to hide that fact. So when you get into the combat of the game, your options are really like, attack the target, do a parry, get a riposte, dodge the target, attack them, fire at them with your firearm, or maybe use some magic ability. And so far from what I've seen, the enemies are pretty basic, so I really want to see like how enemy variety is throughout the course of the game. Like, Obviously, this is the demo. It's probably the first 30 minutes of the game from what I can tell. So you're not expected to see like everything. Like it wouldn't be smart for a developer to show you everything, since a lot of I can see this game being is going to be discovering new abilities and how those translate to combat. But what I really have my attention on so far is the enemy variety and attacks that enemies can do. I feel like the combat itself feels really good. Like, I like the parry feels good, riposte feels good, attacking feels mostly good. I like the pistol mechanic. I like being able to change my ability on the wheel. And you can see in the boss fight, like, there's a mixture of different mechanics between dodging, unblockable attacks, deflecting, shooting ads that are coming out, going back to fighting the boss, setting him on fire, like shooting weak points on him. There's a lot of different mechanics in the very first boss fight that are a really good sign in my opinion. It's not an easy boss fight. It's not a super hard boss fight. For a first boss, it feels about right. And I think if they can continue to have boss fights that kind of escalate from there, their boss fights are going to be really good. But I do wonder about the enemy variety and like the level design a little bit. So far from what I've seen from the level design is it's very linear in terms of exploration. It's like very much corridor based on rails. It didn't seem like there were too many different ways you could go. In fact, it was literally just one way to go, and any way that you went that wasn't really the way was either a dead end or looped around to the main way anyway. Part of me thinks that this was done because this is the very first part of the game and it's like a tutorial level getting you acclimated. So I think moving forward you'll probably see better level design and different ways you can go and dead ends and, you know, optional things to fight and stuff like that. I definitely don't think that's going to be a huge issue, but I want to make sure that the level design is good and is interesting. I mean, coming from Ghost Runner, you'd think that this is going to be one of the strong suits of this. Ghost Runner, by the way, has like a 91% on Steam. Like, it's a very, very popular game. I mean, this is a very, very clever developer. They're trying to do something a little bit different here. And even though it's taking a lot of inspiration from other Souls-likes, I think we'll probably see some things in this game that you might not have seen. You don't see them yet, but I suspect that you probably will at some point, because I just don't think these guys are people that are just going to play it safe the whole game. You know, they're going to try some things. So I'm looking forward to that. But all in all, what I've played so far is good. You know what I mean? It's not mind-blowing from what I've played. You do have, like, level ups. You can level up as you defeat enemies and gain experience. You can put them into what looks like a skill tree where you can gain, like, more health, more stamina, more, like, melee damage when you riposte, things like that. You're going to be able to make a proper build. There are also things in the game that you can equip as you make your way, like, as you keep leveling up, and you can put more and more skill points into your skill tree. You'll unlock little slots at the bottom that you can slot things into that also change your build. These operate kind of like talismans would in like Elden Ring, something like that, where they have some effect, like one heals you over time, kind of like the Blessed Dew talisman. Another one makes it so you can't heal yourself, but attacking heals you, or at least melee attacks, which is interesting. And another one makes it so like when you shoot the weak point of enemies, it explodes, dealing like AoE damage. These are just the ones shown in the demo, so I'm sure there's going to be a lot more of them than what we've seen, but that will help you kind of tailor your build. And I think it's going to come down to like what abilities you slot, or what abilities you like, where you place your skill points, what of these items you slot, like talismans. So I don't think it's going to just be like hack and slash your whole way through parry and riposting, and every player plays exactly the same. I think there's going to be some variety in terms of gameplay through those mechanics, but it remains to be seen how much variety at this point, and that's what I want to see moving forward. And again, there is a playtest for this game that you can play it at the end of the month, so make sure you sign up for that. But I want to know what you guys make of this so far. Is this a game that you saw at Gamescom that had you interested? The gameplay trailer that I saw them release really made me want to see this game, and I had already signed up not knowing what the game was going to be at Gamescom, so when I found out this was the game, it was a huge surprise for me, and I was like, oh, sweet. I really want to see that game. And yeah, it's been a ton of fun so far. It's not mind-blowingly good, but it's definitely one I want to keep an eye on to see how it develops over the next, 6 months to 9 months on into next year's development, see if it improves, if it continues to be what it is, or if it gets worse. And these things too I want to be keeping an eye on. But I want to know what you think. What do you think of this game so far? Are you going to be checking out the demo? Are you going to sign up for it? Is this one that you were interested in when you saw Gamescom, the trailer release? Let me know in the comments below.